times I like to look in the mirror, and other times I don't. And more often I don't like looking in the mirror than enjoying it. And on the last episode of the Looking Glass podcast, I talked about beasts, about the beast. And I had said at the end of that episode that I would have to ponder this idea of that beast being me, and this idea of accepting myself. But when I said I'd need to ponder it, I already knew, I already saw a certain image, and I was taken back to a memory. Does that happen for you when you think about something and you suddenly just go somewhere? You could go 20 years in the past. You could go to yesterday. And I still find it hard to, well, it's not so much hard. Why is it that I can remember a certain day from long ago so clearly? How I was feeling, what I was wearing, what happened, but I can't remember what I ate 3 days ago or what I did 2 Christmases ago. I wonder if you go through that too. I'm going to go back to the beast because the whole idea of the looking glass, I set this intention to go deep, and I said in the introduction that there may be some things that would surprise me and that maybe even shock me. So the memory I got taken back to was, it was before I got married, and it was when I had come out of a longer term relationship. My mom always used to say to me growing up, she always used to do that line from Queen, "Another one bites the dust," because I was hopeless at maintaining romantic relationships. And that is because I typically picked guys who were emotionally unavailable, wounded, that I wanted to rescue. And so they would be aloof. And I suppose I did that because then I didn't have to look at myself if I was busy fixing someone else. I'm still not getting to the beast. I see that. So that time period in between where I went back out dating again, and I started to do a lot of inner work. At the time, I was hosting this psychic TV show called Psychic Interactive. I used to go, "Psychic Interactive, this is your show." And I'm just laughing because I just feel so ridiculous, because this was back when text messaging first started. It wasn't like it is now. And I would just be obsessed and possessed it would just, I would go into fantasy obsession, and it would just come out of nowhere, that feeling. So yeah, the way that my beast showed up was that I would go from to not caring. I would rationalize in my head, oh, I don't care. And the more, I can see it now as I look at myself. At the time, I didn't think it was me. But as I'm looking back at this, it was when I was aloof, whoever the guy was would chase me, would go after me. I would be the prey, the hunted. And then once I succumbed and I was there with him and he felt he had me, then my beast would come out. And I felt ugly and icky. And I'm saying this because the memory I had was I was sitting in front of a mirror, and this was when I was I was house sitting for a friend, and I was in a very transient stage in my life, and I had a candle lit in front of me. And when I looked in the mirror, everything started to dissolve. It was that sense of that going through the looking glass. And the opposite of what is normal showed itself to me in that mirror. I saw these faces. Could one call it a past life? Could one call it just an aspect of myself? Was it real? Wasn't it real? But at one point I saw like this drooling, what I would call it a drooling, ugly type of monster from medieval times that was imprinted, overlaid my image. It was such a strange feeling, and I let it come forth in me. I let it come through the looking glass and be in me. Was it an aspect of me? Had I been carrying that with me for my entire life? Or was it that some part of my soul went somewhere and found that thing? But that's what showed up when I sat and I looked at myself in the mirror and I repeated over and over, Joanna, I love you. I really, really love you. I love you, Joanna. I love you. And as I say it right now, it just, I can't feel it. I don't feel it because I'm not in that moment where I was in the depths of my pain. I talked before about the pain body. My friend Anne and I were talking about the pain body, and that's something that I know is a key to profound healing. And so that's something that I definitely want to get deeper into. So I'm just curious that if you have ever done a mirror meditation like that, where you sit there, you look at yourself by candlelight, and you just say to yourself, I love you. I wonder what you'd see. I'm curious to hear what you have seen or that you would see. I appreciate you taking time to reflect with me. I'm Joanna Garzilli, and till I see you next time.